Okay, so what I'm going to talk about is the report side of Xero, because obviously after you've done all the data entry, what we tend to find is that's it, you stop, you've done your bank reconciliation, you're happy, everything's good, and then Xero isn't used to its full potential. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly share my screen as well. And so what you'll find, all the reports are found from the accounting module. And you can see there's an awful lot there. And I would advise just, for your own benefit at some point, have a look through some of these, and you may find some of them quite useful to you. If there's ones you like, you can actually star them on the left-hand side. And not only will they appear at your top favorites up here, but also if from the drop-down menu here. And with the reports, they're becoming more editable. More, you can create and design your own layouts a bit more. You can edit the layout a lot more than you used to be able to do, and that in turn will help produce a report that you may be able to use and make more sense of. And so what I'm going to do is run through the profit and loss report. Is one of the key reports that you should really, if you're look at a business performance, this is one of the key reports that you should go into. And so once you're in the selected report, so the profit and loss report, you'll see to the left-hand bottom side an edit layout button. Simply clicking on that takes you to the complete layout of your profit and loss. And you can see this one's actually a rather large, full detailed profit and loss with quite a lot of turnover narratives. And what you simply want to do is design it and create it to be more manageable to yourself. So what you can do to start with is you can group transactions all in one lump sum if you don't need to see a full breakdown. So what I'm going to do, if you left click on any of the transactions on the left hand side, you can hold down the shift key to group them, or if you hold down the control key, you can group individually. Once you've selected the entries that you're happy you want grouped, it's a simple case of hitting the group selection on the right hand side there and giving it a name. Once you enter those, you'll see that all of those entries have gone into a group and now taken away from the transaction. So you can group everything together. When you're doing your expenses side of things and you're doing a profit and loss report that you might be reporting to senior members on, they might not want to see 5 or 6 different expenses. For property expenses, they may want to see just a summary of those expenses. So what you would do is, again, using the control key on property expenses, there's the insurance, holding down the control key, property repairs, let's say rent costs, let's do refuse, rent. Again, all those grouped together. You're up to the top corner over here, group the selection, property expenses, and then just simply, once you've entered it, come out of there and you'll see those transactions in there. And then from there, also, if you wanted to add or move things into that category, you can now simply click on the left button of your mouse, and now you can just drag it into that section, into that group, and that moves it into that group. And again, you can always open it up to see what you've got included in there. So now when you run the profit and loss report, you won't have those 5 or 6 individual lines. They'll all be summarized nicely within property expenses. And it just, allows you to build a report that makes more sense to you rather than a full detailed, full-blown report. The other main feature of this report is you can add formulas, which is extremely handy if you're ever doing, let's say, corporation tax calculation, if you want to look at a certain GP percentage. There's various formulas you can do. To add that in, what you need to do is you'll have up the top here in the profit and loss bar, you click on the row, you can add a formula. And then that formula, let's do that again somewhere I can actually see it. So that formula then can be moved around anywhere within the profit and loss report to create the formula. So I'm going to drop mine right to the end here. I'm going to make a provision for corporation tax so that when I run a profit and loss report, I can estimate what the corporation tax will be. Any items that you group becomes available from an insert menu over here. So on the right-hand side, within our formula, clicking here, it's a very simple, basic sum. But what you can do is from the drop-down menu, add any of the group totals. So you'll see there's none of the individual lines, but anything that we've grouped, i.e. the property expenses, does become available to add into the formula. So for my calculation, I actually want depreciation expense in the formula. So I'm going to group that selection with nothing else, just so I can get the formula running. And then to come into the formula, it is a simple case of inserting and then just using the standard maths tools here. So I'm going to say, I want the profit before taxation, just picking up from down here. I then want to add back my depreciation. And then I'm going to divide by 100 and times 19. Forgive me, I've forgotten the brackets. Oh, and I also forgot to give it a name. So once you've given it a name and you've got the formula in there, when you come to producing the profit and loss report, you've now got this formula working within here that will obviously, in this case, estimate your profit and loss, but you can stick a formula anywhere within the profit and loss to do other calculations. So another formula would be dropping it up here, the more common one, sticking it here and doing a gross profit percentage. So there's various things that you can use to prove it. Once you're happy with the layout, you can literally update the layout. Let's delete that out of the way. And it sends you back. I've got that hidden formula somewhere. Apologies, just trying to find the extra formula I put in there somewhere. Let's see. Cancel that for a minute. Apologies, there was just an issue with my formula there. So I'll just go in and recreate that formula. Okay, and then once the formula is working, you just literally click on update. And there you'll see at the bottom there that the formula's come in. It's calculated the CT provision. We're actually making a loss here, so it's semi-irrelevant on there. But as I say, it's all about customizing this to show exactly how you'd want to present the profit and loss, to use it as a tool for your own calculations. And most importantly, look at the figures that are on here, because you're using Xero anyway. Why not come in here and utilize this so you can see where your profits are, where your losses are your figures what you think they are. Profit and loss is a very powerful report in itself without any editing, but it's definitely worth utilizing and looking into. Once you have this report and you've put in provisions, you then also get the option to add notes. So if you are actually a manager here and you were producing this report for senior officials or senior members of the team, you get the option to insert content, and that's again from the bottom left hand menu, and you can enable a note. Once you've enabled the note, anywhere you go on the left-hand side, you get to add a note to the figures. So I'm going to take sales as an example. I'm going to give it a note. Give it a bit of description. And now I'm just saying I've raised the credit notes raised of £250 after the year end, not in our profit and loss, but we wanted to make a note about it for management. I click on done, and you'll see it appears at the bottom, and a little number 1 appears there. And you can continue adding notes all the way through anywhere you like, and they'll appear there. You do have the option, if you prefer, to move that note to the top by hitting the overflow menu here. You get to move up, and now you'll see the note sits on top of the profit and loss. And again, it just tells you exactly what we put in there. Once you're happy with that report and everything's as it should be, If you want to use this report again, don't forget you've got the Save As option down here, and you can save as and click Custom Report. That saves the report so that you can then use the same report with the same formulas in month after month. If you wanted to keep this report to send to management without the figures changing or anything moving, then you've got the option in the Save As tab, Publish. By publishing this report, you're saving the report exactly as it is. And then you can invite management or team members to come in and look at the report. It comes up with the basic information, as you can see, and you simply click on Save to save that report. Once that's done, these reports can be retrieved by going to Accounting, then Reports, and then across the top here, there's your custom report, and there's your published reports. And depending on the people's privileges, you'll be able to, whoever's got the privileges to see reports can then see that information. As I say, the profit and loss is quite a powerful tool for business decisions, for looking at where things are, how things stand. So if you're doing the monthly management accounts, annotating it can be a very useful weapon, and it's all there within Xero. As I say, often Xero is used as a data entry tool and not so much a reporting tool, but I think it's quite important that you look into that and it can be used. And then alongside the profit and loss report, one of the other good reports that Xero can do is the budget report. So the budget report, again, within the Reports tab. And here is the Budget Manager. Again, you can star it so it appears on the top there. And also now if I click on Accounting, you'll see it in the Budget Manager there. So the Budget Manager allows you to create, obviously, your budgets for the year, plan, have a look at your forecasted profits. It will start the date from the date here. So you can start a budget from January if you wish, and it will allow you to enter from January. You've got at the moment with this setting here, you can see that we've actually got the actual figures for October, November, December, because we've asked for it. We can get rid of that. We don't need any of that. But if you want to see what was coming up to the period that you're doing the budget for, you can do, just as a useful tool. I'm going to get rid of it. So I'm just looking at the budget for this 2023 year and planning. Please also note there's a period here. This period, 3, 6, 12, or 24 months, is the length of time that you're drafting this budget for. And the figures will automatically fill in across the number of periods that you're putting it in for. All you need to do is simply go into any box, and in the first box, put in an amount. So I will copy that 1,000 for the moment. As soon as you put an amount or you enter into the first box, you get a green arrow. that green arrow gives you 3 options for how to do the formulas going across the rest of the page. So the first option is to apply a fixed amount to each month. So here we're saying we're going to put £1,000 and that income is not going to change through the 12 months. So apply that. Automatically 1,000 will appear in every single box going across. But what we can do, alternatively, if we start with sundry income and we say, actually, it's going to increase by a set amount each month. Estimation of £25 is going to go up each month. So again, you'll see there that we've now got this £25 increment going up all the way through the report. And then the final thing is a percentage. So again, we've got the first option, a percentage, and we're saying that the percentage is going to increase by 10% each month and go through. So they're the 3 main methods of getting the figures going across. But you also have the option, of course, of whacking in just figures without putting anything. You can ignore that, and you can just drill in if you have a variety of reports. Once you're happy that the figures are as you expect, you can click Save. And that will save your budget report to be used elsewhere, which I'll briefly show you on, but it won't be in part of the presentation today. But you also have an option to create further budgets there. So if you're looking at various like worst case, best case scenarios, you can come here, you can create a new budget. And then off you go again. And then when it comes to the reporting side of things, you can select each of these cases. So build your reports based on those. As I say, once you have the budget in place and you use the budget manager, we will probably have another presentation at a later date in more detail about how you would really utilize them. But back in accounting and back to reports. A couple of basic ones here under the financial budget, financial performance module. You can have a look at your budget summary. So obviously this has been created from the data I've just put in to give you a rough idea of profits. And again, you can select the various ones and update. There's nothing in there, so going back to that. Or you have the option of the budget variance. So this is taking your actual profit and loss figures, comparing it to your budget figures, and creating a report, again, as a management tool. So the management can look into anything that was unexpected, expected, and a real good tool. And as you can see, as always, you've got the edit layout button down the bottom hand side, so that, again, you can customize this report. Slightly more detailed on this one, but similar processes. You can add in rows, formulas, you can group transactions. And then update the layouts. Okay, and then one more report that I wanted to show, because all the lots of clients with customers and age debtors will use it, but there's a couple of tabs that sometimes clients don't realize are there, or some options that they don't realize are there. So I just wanted to show you the age receivables detail report. So this is your age debtors report or age receivables report in full detail. And Natalie, shortly after my presentation, will be discussing with you some of the quicker ways of sending out debtor emails. But if you are part of the debt collection team, one of the quick tools that you can do on here, and it is very simple, is simply add columns with more information. So in the columns tab over here, on the drop-down menu, you can add the primary person, you can add a phone number, a mobile number, you can update that. And then what that does is give you a contact number, a contact name on one report that's easy for contacting the debtors. You can also insert text boxes and add boxes again, wherever it might need to be. So you can add notes pretty much anywhere. So if you and a colleague were debt chasing and you wanted to add a note here, paying next month, that's done. Then again, you can see the notes at the bottom, the numbers at the top. And if you click on the number, you can see the note there. So I'll just pop into have a look at the chat and see if there's anything on that, or if anyone has any questions on any of the reports. But as I say, I do think it's quite the reporting module. Once you're using Xero to its full potential, there's definitely some added advantage to coming in here and running a few of these reports, especially for management purposes, especially looking at profits, having an estimation of corporation tax, etc., etc. There's so many reports in here, and it's just a case of come in, have a look, and see if any of them can be utilised. Speak to the Honey Barrett team; they might be able to guide you on certain reports and editing them. But do come and have a look.